Shifting focus now, the Supreme Court makes stern observations stating that all the states are under an obligation to compensate victims of violence in the name of protecting cows. Further, the Apex Court observed that law and order has to have a primacy and has to be dealt with strictly. The observations made while the court was hearing a batch of pleas pertaining to cow vigilantism. 5 states have filed a compliance report in compliance of the earlier order of the Supreme Court on cow vigilantism. The court, however, refused to take up the matter of Junaid's lynching, while Pehlukan case was found a mention in the court. All right, let's go across to Meenakshi, who's joining me on the phone line. Meenakshi, take us through the details of these particular observations.
This is interesting because this is the second time around in the second consecutive hearing. Our viewers will recall that the Supreme Court first gave an inclination into how it is thinking way back in September when the first set of terse observations came by, and today was the second hearing on the same subject matter pertaining to overall instances of cow vigilantism. But one thing is very clear, the top court is not letting go of its eye on the issue anytime soon in the foreseeable future, because the matter has been kept pending for October when the Supreme Court will take it up next. But today, interestingly, the court again followed up on its earlier terse observations when it made this particular comment saying how all states are under an obligation to compensate victims of cow vigilante violence. And not just that, how also alongside this, the top court of the country is of the opinion that it is the bounden duty of every state administration, of every government, to ensure that there is no breakdown of the rule of law. But that apart, what was interesting is, as we saw last time, this time around again, 5 states today filed their compliance reports before the Apex Court in order to convince or satisfy the Supreme Court as to how its earlier directions are being complied with. Interestingly, there were other individual cases which were mentioned to the Supreme Court. However, like you again rightly pointed out, individual cases like, for instance, pertaining to Junaid incident, that the top court has declined to take into account for now, saying that it's going to focus largely on having a set of guidelines and having them implemented insofar as the overall broad issue of cow vigilantism instances are concerned across different parts of the country.
All right. Thanks, Meenakshi, for getting us all those details.